Hi everyone. So today we'll be learning about how to visualize data on the DHIS2 through the use of the map. So in this session, we'll be using the maps application within the DHIS2. So for you to be able to visualize data on the DHIS2, there are some of the basic steps that you need to follow. And as you can see that the DHIS2 usually uses the OpenStreetMaps from the Google Maps that has been embedded into the system when it was being developed. So for you to visualize data on the maps using the DHIS2, the first thing that you do, you have to click on the Add Layers. After clicking on the add layers, you'll be able to see various layers that we have within the system. But for specific for this session, we have a lot of layers within the DHIS2, such as the thematic, events, tracked entity, facilities, org units. But for this session, we'll be learning about three of them, the thematic, facilities, and org unit. So the first layer that I'll be able to show you is the facility layer. So we'll click on the facility layer. After clicking on the facility layer, here we want to map all the facilities that we have within this Sierra Leone as a country. So I'll check on the org unit that I want is the Sierra Leone, and then I'll select the level, and the level that I want to display over here is facility. So for the facility to be displayed within the DHIS2, you must have, whoever is setting up the system must have captured the coordinates. Without the coordinates, we won't be able to view the facility. And then I'll click on Add Layer. And then here are the facilities that we have within the DHIS2, as simple as that. And then you see, for this aspect now, we have to demarcate the facilities through the use of, we can add boundaries. So for that case, I'll add another layer. I'll come over here and then click on add layer. And then I'll go to org units layer. This one is the org unit layer that will be, this is the layer that will help me visualize the boundaries or add the boundaries onto that. So we can have one more than two layers. So I'll click on the org unit, and then I'll click on Sierra Leone, and then I can select the maybe the districts for the boundaries, and then click add layer. And then you can see here are our boundaries for the facility. So the maps application gives you the ability to add one or more than two layers. So for example, if I want to hide the facilities, you can see here we have the tool for opacity, so I can reduce it like this. You can see they are fading out, and then they can be faded like that, or you can increase the opacity up to that point. And then we can also edit it. Let's say you want to change something over there. Maybe you want to visualize facilities only in Bo. You'll uncheck the Sierra Leone and then check on Bo and then click update. So you can see it only visualizes the facilities in Bo district. But for our case, let's leave it for Sierra Leone. So I'll check Sierra Leone and then click update. So we can have various OSM or base maps. Within this case, we can have the OSM details. You can click on that, you can see it. We can have the ring road. You can see that's the ring road. We can have the aerial, the Bing aerial. You can see here it is, of which you can zoom the way that you want. We can have the Bing aerial detailed. This one is more detailed. For example, you can zoom, continue zooming until you can see where the facility is located on the map. Yeah. So you can see I can zoom until up to the last point. I can zoom it. So you can see here here is where the facility is at. You can see if this is the surgical ward or PD lab, and this is the facility that we are talking of, the Masanga Hospital in Sierra Leone. So you can, it's more of an aerial view that we have within the DHS to give you that capability. So we have various aspects or various usability within the map. For example, you can see here, this one is the uh, this one is the zoom in button that I was clicking on. We also have the zoom out. I can zoom out like this. You can see I've been able to zoom it like that. And then let me change the base maps so that I can have the light like that. And then the next one is this one is the zoom out. This one is the full screen. I can enter full screen like that, and I can exit my full screen. And then I can also I can zoom to content like that. And then also it gives me the ability to search. I can search a facilities such as Ngelehan, and then it will bring for me a lot of Ngelehan. But the one that I'm interested in is the one in Bo. You can see here is the Ngelehan. That's how it has been able to uh, zoom to content to where the facility is. At the same time, the last feature over here, we have the a feature, a ruler that can help us measure distance. So for example, I'll click on it and then come and let's say we measure this hospital, this one up to this one, like that. You can see it will tell me the distance is 17.6 kilometer between the two facility, and I can also measure the area. I can click on a third facility and then it will tell me the distance and also the area, and then I can also finish. Okay, I can even tell it to center on the map, and here it is nicely. If you don't want it, you can delete it. Okay, so let me zoom to content. That's how we're able to add the facility layer and also the org unit, which are the boundary layer. So if let's say you want to edit the org unit layer, you just click on edit, and then click check on bow, and then update like that. If you don't want that layer, you can click on more action. Maybe you can show on data table. You can download the data that was used to visualize the polygons for that one, and then they'll be downloaded in form of JSON. If you don't want, you can remove the layer or edit it. So for our case, it has been removed. Okay, but let's add it again. I'll click over there, say org unit, say select Sierra Leone, select the district for Sierra Leone, and then add it like that. You can save it. For example, I can save it. As I had said, we can use a unique prefix. You can use 1515, and then this one is facilities of where Sierra Leone, facilities Sierra of Sierra Leone. Then you can add the description if you want, and then you can save it. And then I can save it like that. And then if you want, you can also rename, you can save as, you can share this one, and then also you can download the data, this visualization that we have over here, and export it like that. I believe that's clear. Let's go to another layer. I'll click on File, and then click on New. And then I'll click on Add Layer. And I add layer here now. I'll now, let's say we want to check on thematic layer. I'll click on thematic layer. After clicking on thematic layer, I can I'll select the thematic layer. Most of the time it helps us to visualize the data that the various data on the map. For example, we can analyze the NC visit. I'll click on item type. Here maybe we can do about the coverage, and then group NC indicator. I can do the first coverage. Okay, and then the period, I can select the last 12 months, and then the org units, I can select maybe the districts, and then you can ignore the other ones and then click on add layer. And then you can see here is a visualization of the district within the Sierra Leone, the NC coverage. You can see we have a lot of them. You can also even add another one. We can add the second visit, NC coverage, second coverage indicator. I'll choose the second coverage, and the period 12, org units, district, and then I can add it. You can see, so we have two of them. So if I can add the opacity of this one so that we cannot see. We can see the first one. You can see it's now hidden. You can see the color keeps on changing, so that we can have this other one active. I can also play with the opacity of the other one. For now, let's have both, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense. So let me just remove the second coverage. Upon this layer, we can add maybe the facilities. We can see why do we have this concentration of visits over here as compared to the other. So I'll click on add layer, click on facilities, and then facilities in Sierra Leone, and then add layer. So you can see we based it depending on the facilities. Here it's so low, and as you can see, the even the facilities over here, we have minimal facilities upon this region, and that makes sense. If you like your visualization, you can hit the save and then save it, give it maybe NC one coverage in Sierra Leone, one coverage in Sierra Leone, and then you can save it like that. So that's how we're able to add another visualization or another layer upon one layer. So this one is very important whenever you are whenever you need to visualize your data, and you need to show it to the various uh, maybe your let's talk of you need to present the data to the various maybe meetings or county health committee or the stakeholders that you have. We can be able to use these maps to help us. So for our case right now, I've been able to show you how we can do something maybe on the HIV and AIDS, the NC visits that you're having within Sierra Leone, and how we can visualize it. Maybe you can check on another one. Let's try a new one. And for this case, maybe you can try something on instead of doing the these the thematic layer, we can also try the events over. Maybe we can check on events, but for this case, maybe on the events we can try something new. I think maybe I think they have data on how do you call it, data on malaria cases within these regions, so within Sierra Leone. So we can try for the program. Maybe we can try malaria case registration, and then here the stage is malaria case registration, and then the location we can maybe choose the one that we have. Event location, maybe households. I think households, I'm not so sure. Households, really, I doubt. And then the period, so within the period we can choose a period that we want. For this one, maybe for our case, I can have a start date and end date. Maybe I can start something in 2016. We can try for 2016, and then maybe the org units, we can try the Sierra Leone org units. Maybe let's try and see. So for our case, we don't really have much for the Sierra Leone for the events, etc. That's why we mostly focused on the thematic facilities and org units. That's how we're able to deal. That's how we're able to come up with this kind of visualization for those countries. Maybe I'm not so sure. Maybe was it the period the problem, but the data should be able to be shown depending on how the maps are, but I think we are missing a lot of data within the system. So that's how you're able to use the maps application. If you have any question, you can leave a comment, and then I'll be able to guide you. Thank you.